The video came at 11:47 p.m. I was sitting on my couch, finishing the last bit of a quarterly report that wasn't due until Monday, because that's who I was. The man who stayed loyal. The man who cleaned up everyone else's mess. Then came the notification. A message from Daniel, my colleague, my friend. You should see this, Mark. The video opened to the sound of laughter, clinking glasses, music. The staff party I'd skipped because I had a migraine and a pile of work that just couldn't wait. And then I heard him. My boss. The man I'd served for 20 years. The man who told me I was like family. He stood on stage, red-faced, holding a drink, his voice booming through the speakers. Mark, that worthless dumbass, he's still here because no one else wants to do his boring-ass job. But don't worry, everyone, next month he's gone, replaced, finally. Laughter followed, loud, real, from people I'd trained, mentored, covered for. The camera panned, faces I knew, eyes bright, no discomfort, just entertainment. When the video ended, I sat there, still. No anger, no tears, just a quiet kind of death inside me. 20 years, gone in one sentence. Back then, when I joined the company, he was just a department head, charismatic, sharp, and ruthless in a way that looked like leadership. He said I was his right hand, said he'd build something big and I'd be part of it. And I believed him. I stayed when others left. I worked through weekends, missed anniversaries, funerals, life. When the company grew, so did he, from manager to director, from director to VP. And I stayed the same, the dependable man in the background. The next morning, I went to work like nothing happened. I greeted him with a calm, good morning, even though my throat burned with every word. He smiled, slapped my shoulder, said, "You're my rock, Mark. Don't know what I'd do without you." I almost laughed, because I already knew what I'd do. I decided then I wouldn't quit. I wouldn't lash out. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction of seeing me break. No, I would stay, and I would make sure the company he built with his arrogance collapsed, quietly, from within. The first step was information. He underestimated me, always had. He thought I was just the numbers guy, the invisible one. But I was the one who handled every project file, every compliance document, every supplier contract. I knew where the bones were buried. So I started documenting. Not creating anything, just noticing. The missing approvals, the forged signatures, the expense reports padded with client dinners that were really personal vacations. Every file I touched, I copied. Every meeting I recorded, discreetly, methodically. He trusted me so much, he even asked me to clean up a few discrepancies before an upcoming audit. I cleaned them up all right, into an encrypted folder under his name, backed up 3 different ways. By the second week, I had everything. But evidence isn't power until it's placed in the right hands. So I waited. I started planting seeds, small ones. Questions in meetings. Hey, wasn't that client account supposed to be closed last quarter? Innocent enough to sound casual, pointed enough to make people glance at him. And I watched him sweat. Just a little, just enough. I made sure our finance director got curious too. You should take a closer look at those overseas transfers, I said one afternoon. I think someone might have double booked. I knew she would. She was thorough, and she'd find what I'd left in plain sight. By the 3rd week, whispers began. Compliance inquiries, audit check-ins, an email from the regional office flagged as urgent. He still smiled in meetings, but his eyes darted more now. He snapped at assistants. He started staying late. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Then came the board meeting. He wasn't invited to this one. I was. They wanted to discuss irregularities. I simply presented the data, the documents, the timelines. No emotion, no accusations, just facts. When they asked who was responsible, I said calmly, "Everything traces back to him. I think he's been using company funds for personal expenses for years." Silence followed, the kind that tastes like justice. 1 month later, just like he'd promised at that party, he was replaced. But not me. I was promoted. The news spread fast, just as fast as that video had a month before. I heard he was escorted out, ranting about betrayal and conspiracies. No one believed him. The same people who laughed that night didn't even meet his eyes as he left. That evening, I sat in his old office, my office now. The city lights spilled across the glass, and for the first time in years, I felt nothing. No triumph, no guilt. Just silence, the kind that settles after a storm has finished its work. I opened the same video again, watched his drunken grin, the laughter, the betrayal replayed in bright, sharp color. Then I deleted it.